What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to episode 8 of Comic Book Aficionados. I'm Mason AJ.
This is the librarian. I'm the GOAT.
Today we're going to be talking about sagas. Excuse me, saga, like that. It's made by Brian K. Vaughan, who's done many great works, including Why the Last Man, The Runaways, and
Ex Machina.
The Ex Machina.
He's one of my favorite artists today. He's very poppy, very current. He's almost like the what are those things that I hate?
You mean Dino Staples is the artist?
No. What are they called? The people, they have mustaches? I liked them before they were popular. Okay.
Hipsters.
Hipsters.
Thank you. This very much slides in with the rest of his very hipsterish kind of writing style. It's very hip, very current. Just the lingo in it and everything. And he's working with Fiona Staples.
And her art is complementing his style.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like folk art at this point, and I absolutely love it.
It's like vivid watercolors, and it's just like, it just blends so well together. It's like you're really looking at a painting. You're not really looking.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Like that. Well, one of the things I like about it, in case you haven't already checked out the series, it's about these two lovers, you know, from these two different sides of the world, who kind of meet and they have a baby, and they're trying to say, like, really, like,
yes, there's an intergalactic war, and they are it's between these two races, and they are opposing ends of it, and they meet in the middle of it. They have a baby, and now they are on the run from
both sides.
Yeah, they're being hunted by both their people. Both sides are being hunted by their own people because they're both. In this world, everyone is drafted into the war. So they're basically draft dodgers and traitors to their people. So they're on the run from everybody.
Now, what they've done that's really great is both races are very distinctive in clothing, and they've even done a language thing, and their technology that they use.
Right, because the two sides are the Winglies, who are very like technology based, like that, and the Moonies, or not Moonies.
Well, I think
the Moonies is the slang term.
It's the slang term for them. It's actually like the N-word for black people. It's actually supposed to be
it's a slang
derogatory word. But they have horns and they use magic.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing I like about this place. It's kind of like technology versus magic in a way.
Yes, and their magic uses secrets and snow and secret.
Right, because their magic isn't just like magic. Like it's a process to it. It's like one particular spell is, you know, if you're tied up, you have to say a secret and nobody knows in order for it, you know, for it to work. Right, like that. So each and everything has a working process to it, which is one of the things I love, because as you see a lot of other shows where magic is almost like, not shows, but series where magic is almost like too powerful. It feels too easy, too cheap. But now you feel like you have to work for it, master.
And they explain that certain spells shave off like some of your life. Like 4 years of your life for throwing lightning or a weather spell or something like that. It's really interesting. The more I'm into it, the more I learn about each culture, and I am just riveted. But the story is so simple.
Yeah, that's the one thing I really kind of it makes me laugh about this book, because when everybody that talks about this book, it's amazing, everybody loves it, but at the same time, nothing really ever happens. There's not a whole lot of action. It's really character driven.
Very much.
When there is action, it's awesome, because they never let you forget that both of these people are warriors, and it's kind of hidden, it's kind of off screen, but when it does happen on screen, you're taken aback a little bit.
Well, the tagline that I used when it was being optioned out was, "It's Star Wars meets Game of Thrones," and that's very much the sense I get, because each issue, you know, very much like an episode of Game of Thrones, is a lot of characters, a lot of talking, but it's not so much moving the story forward as in building up to a certain event, and then a certain issue will happen, and then that event will take place, and it's just like, oh, what the, like that a little bit, and it's kind of like it's almost how you top that, but they continuously build on top of everything else.
And they've done a great job. I am just riveted by story. Every character, every side story is just
even the little smaller characters.
Yeah, everything is interesting, including, like, the best thing I like about this book is it's told through monologue from the baby's point of view. You're hearing the
baby from the future.
Yeah, you're hearing the baby tell the story from the future, and like you said, these super interesting characters. Like in one issue, a ghost becomes the baby's
babysitter, and then she's like, "This is the first out of like 3 of my babysitters." He's like, "Wait a minute, if the ghost is your first, I can't wait to see the other 2."
And you know what? For me to explain it like that, to hear someone explain it like that, it sounds ridiculous, but this is one of the most cohesive and well put together stories I've ever read, and I'm just, again, it's just riveting. I am sold on it so much. I'm sucked into that world. And the funny thing about it being so simple is at the core of it, there's this novel that's being
passed around.
And the whole idea of the novel was that it was simple. Like, there's nothing in it, but it's a great book.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about what I'm reading
It's
now.
yeah, it's kind of like a parody of itself, where like this novel gets passed around, and everybody who picks up this novel in the story can't put it down and can't stop reading it. It's the same with Saga.
But nothing happens in it. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing special.
But then everybody's also like, this novel must have some deep meaning. But no, it really was just a story.
You know, it's funny. I can't explain why I love it so much. And you know what? Everyone who has stopped down and read it can't explain why they like it so much, but they are just in it. It's so real. I remember Excalibur went 6 pages into the first issue, and he's like, "This is one of the."
I love it.
coolest
It's
things."
done. I need more.
And then he sat there. He went over to his app, and he bought every issue that was available on it, and I was
Yeah, I actually did that. I picked it up in the trade paperback on a recommendation from a friend of mine, and it was so good. I actually went back and started collecting individual issues because I can't wait. I can't wait for the next trade paperback, which comes out in July. By the way, that's too long for me. I've got to know what's going on right now.
Which, by the way, the story at this point is 12 issues deep. It started last year. It's 1 issue a month.
Yep.
And it's worth the pick up. It's worth going back and digging through those bins and trying to pick up a copy.
Sure.
100%.
There was a little bit of controversy with issue 12. There was some confusion with Comixology and the Apple iBook store.
The
where
Comixology
yeah,
app.
they thought that some of the material, because this is definitely an adult read. There's
Very
a
much
lot-
so.
Yeah, they thought the material was going to get banned by Apple, so they just went ahead and said that they weren't going to release it, and there was fan uproar galore, and then a lot of people wound up having to
It
apologize.
became a gay rights issue, but that was not the case. The issue was coming out. It was delayed for a second, but it was just a misunderstanding. Everything is all right. So, you know, if you went out there, you owe yelling and boasting about it, you owe somebody an apology.
Apologize.
Apologize.
Apologize!
And another thing I love about this book is like we said before, every character is like, not just the warrior races are hunting down. Both sides have hired bounty hunters to come after them. Freelancers, yes. And like they have these interesting, like the Stalk and the Pride.
What is the freelancers are kind of like assassin / bounty hunter guild, and each member of the guild has a title, which is the 2 main characters is the Will and the Stalk.
Yeah, Stalk.
And the Stalk, you know, you hear all these bad things. Oh, the Stalk's on the case is already over.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, he
and
finds
then
out Stalk's on the case. I'm out of here.
And then you see the Stalk, like, oh, that's not that bad. And then she whips out with his guns and an axe and a chainsaw.
And you see like what she is. She's another type of alien just from this story, and she's a little terrifying, but she's written so human. It's just part of her job and everything. Everything about it is an enthralling. And it's funny. Now that I think about it, you only get hints at what they do, but you just know that these characters are just awesome.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
They're dangerous. It never passes your mind that they're not dangerous.
Yeah.
But they're written so humanly and at times vulnerable.
Right, and even like the non-human characters, because there's also a sub character who's the sidekick to the Will, the Lion Cat, like that.
Oh yeah,
who's
he can detect when people are lying.
who detect me? Right? He's like, yeah, I did some sort of lying. You're like, what? And the cat said you were lying, so obviously you're lying.
What was really cool is when he tries to lie to his lying cat.
And the cat's like, lying.
He's like, man, shut up.
It's just small things like that, big things like just the main story itself, the characters. I'm in love with this world. I'm in love with the people in it. I am in love with the book. Period.
Which just goes back to Brian K. Vaughan, because all his works are like these small little things which end up making this cohesive whole that just envelops you.
Again, just like with Why Last Man, I'm in this world, and he's such a great damn writer.
I know, that's gross.
I almost hate him a little bit, because like, why you write so good, Brian?
Why you write so good?
Why do I care? Why do I care about this guy? Nothing happened to him.
So yeah, be sure to check out Sagas on comicbookstorelocator.com. Feel free to comment down below if you have or have not read it, what you're hoping to get out of it, what you hope to see other works by Brian K. Vaughan, or what's the other artist's name?
Fiona
Staples.
Fiona Staples. Wrong comic.
But yeah, anyway.
So that is it. Please pick up these issues. Go dig through those bins and pick this damn book up. 12 issues deep. The last one came out about a week ago. comicbookstorelocator.com. Find the nearest comic book store near you and find these damn things and add them to your collection. Hold on to them, cherish them, read them over and over, and just spread them out. Let the word get out on this book. This thing is amazing.
And after you found the book, feel free to comment down below, because we want to hear what you think about Goodbye.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. So once again, this is The Librarian, followed by
Mason AJ.
And the GOAT.
Thanks for watching.